initially the conversations were last year, and there was an invitation in the workshop to suggest the design for a statue of the Queen as the linchpin or the starting point for the renaming of Duncan Place, Queen Elizabeth Square going forward. I mean, initially I thought, well, I'll do a design drawing and we'll see where it goes, and that was initially accepted in principle, and then that was the start of a long redesign and refinement process which has led to where we are now. So this is the concept drawing. This is actually number 3. So this was the 3rd drawing that went to the Dean and Chapter. I was then able to scale that up and make quite big adjustments. The pose changed. I had a life model at this point wearing dresses so I could get the posture and the anatomy correct. And then this is what we've ended up with as the starting point for going to the full-size sculpture. So this is a 1:4 scale model done in modelling clay in an accurate representation of the niche that the statue will go on the building itself on the west front of the Minster. So that's just normal clay, so that will shrink and crack and fall to pieces. That's essentially a sacrificial part of the process. So while that's still wet, I have to cast that into plaster, and then I could model the diadem which the Queen will be wearing on the full-size statue. So this is actual statue size now, and this will be superimposed on the body, which I've also started work on there in the background. And that's in a polyurethane material which I can carve away with files and rasps. So that will become the life-size, full-size model, which I will then take the detail from to carve the stone. There's a huge sense of responsibility, and there's some pretty big design challenges as well. It's, I wouldn't say not just a case of getting a likeness of the Queen. That's incredibly difficult in its own right, to try and capture that sense of poise and elegance, and to capture a sense of the 70 years on the throne as well, which I thought was very important for the design. I mean, this is really what this is celebrating, to go on the building for the Jubilee next year. But yes, first and foremost, it also has to fit into the fabric of the building. In my view, as a stonemason who works here, it can't be a detraction. It has to be an enhancement to the facade of the building. The pose that I've designed, there's a protective gesture around the organ sector, which, by holding out the mantle of the garter robes that she's wearing, and she's also standing quite upright and steadfast, facing into that prevailing wind which buffets the west front of the Minster on a regular basis. So I've tried to capture that sense of regality, which is a nebulous thing, and it's a difficult thing, and that's been the most difficult thing to try and get into the pose of the figure, I think. No, I've not had the luxury of being able to get sets of calipers on her head to get the dimensions, so it's been a case of trying to find the best possible source images. I mean, particularly profile images, so you can take accurate measurements for depths and from the tip of the nose backwards.
Her Majesty the Queen has made such an impact on nation and commonwealth, and on the way in which life is lived in our communities, that I think a niche on the West Front is really quite remarkable. So we're very excited about the development. This work is the reflection of teamwork and the remarkable skill of one of our sculptors, Richard. He's done an amazing job. Part of our plan, our neighbourhood plan, is to develop Queen Elizabeth Square as a place for gathering and for chilling out at the heart of the city, but overlooked by a most remarkable woman who has been a focus for national unity over 70 years. Of course, we would be delighted if Her Majesty the Queen was able to come and see the work that Richard Bossons has produced, with such stunning skill, in place on that niche.